Hello, my name is Sam Lovall. I'm a project manager with Friends of the Detroit River. Why are wetlands important to me personally? And when did I first get passionately involved with wetland protection? Well, really, the passion probably came quite late in my career, but the idea of engaging with wetlands really began as in my childhood, growing up in a small residential area surrounded by woodlands and wetlands and two lakes. One of them was called Mud Lake, and of course, this offered me a great opportunity to, as a child, to learn about marshes and wetlands. Uh, it, it's probably more of a lifestyle at that time, maybe even a bad habit, according to, my parents and the critters that I probably brought home, frogs and turtles, and of course a lot of mud. But that's just how I grew up. But this later led to a professional career in landscape architecture, a very broad field that supports the understanding of ecosystem services and the science of preserving and creating wetlands. And really, probably the passion started when I connected with the Friends of the Detroit River in an effort to save Humbug Marsh. Okay, this was the last remaining mile of coastal wetlands on the U.S. side of the Detroit River. And it was really not just about engaging with this Humbug Marsh, but really the people that were involved were tremendous and almost spiritual. So it's people like Bob Burns, who later became the Detroit River keeper, John Hardig, that who later became the manager of the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge, and a host of others. Rose Ellison with the EPA and many other governmental agency staff. It really became a significant club, if you can imagine that. To be a great group of people to be a part of. Why should the general public care about wetlands protection? Well, look, a year ago this month, the United Nations released a report on biodiversity indicating 1 million species would likely become extinct in the next 2 decades. This is huge. This is a very significant wake-up call. But when digging deeper into the report, it was really coastal wetlands are among the largest challenges that we need to be rethinking. So this is pretty understandable. This is where the greatest diversity of plant and wildlife species exist, and everything that we've already talked about contribute to the importance of wetlands. But probably most important would be the cleansing effect that wetlands have on our fresh water, the most valuable commodity that we have here on our planet. Uh, Wetlands serve as a filtering system, removing sediment, nutrients, and pollutants. They spread out and slow down the flow that otherwise could cause erosion. And they prevent sediment from being transported to where it might adversely affect the ecology and productivity of other environments. Wetland soils and vegetation can capture, process, and store nutrients and contaminants. So yeah, the healthy wetlands can also remove harmful bacteria and can be important in the management of urban stormwater by improving the removal of nutrients, suspended materials, and pathogens from water prior to its return to the environment. So from an ecosystem service provider, they rank at the top of the list.